Welcome to the Mean Street Podcast with Brandon Benefield.
Hey, what is going on here?
Adam Howell.
Okay, I need 33 1/3 pounds of bacon.
Alfred Romero.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm like a dumpster.
And Adrian Moss.
Let's do this!
We use the word revolution because this is a revolution.
Hold one, arm drag. Woo!
The millions.
What? That's the big wiggle.
Look at all of this crap in this ring.
Hold two, arm bar.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
It's still real to me, damn it.
That's right, yet another podcast about professional wrestling. Seriously, guys?
Making their way to the ring at a combined weight of 776 pounds, the Mean Street
Podcast.
Hold three, the moss-covered, three-handle family Gradunzel. Two, sweet!
God almighty, the roof just came off.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is the Mean Street Podcast coming to you from interwebs here with my brothers from other mothers. I'm B-Double Brandon Benefield, and across the internet to my, he's actually to my left, but physically he's to my south, A-Bomb Too Sweet, Adam Howell.
That's me, and you know what I'm here to do, people. The world is in great need of some unbiased journalistic integrity, and I'm here to raise the standard by silencing the falseness on this mean street that leads to a dead end, brother. And to my north is someone who's going to help me do that. He's rocking the Toronto Blue Jay baseball cap. His name's Alfred Romero. How are you, brother?
Hello to the millions and millions of the Mean Street Podcast fans out there listening in. It's a good evening. It's good to see everybody in their respective cubicles here on this half game of tic-tac-toe, because we only have 4 squares in this one.
So it's 4, but it'd usually be what, 9? So
right.
That's actually less. That's less than half.
Yes.
So,
but number one in my heart is the Big Moss Man.
Number one with a bullet, Alfred. Yeah. What's
number one in my heart, always and forever.
What's going on, guys? I'm just having a rough week.
You know,
trying to make the mean streets the nice streets, and it ain't going so well right now.
Yeah, I imagine it's a tough week to try to make the mean streets nice.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention what's going on in the world right now. And, of course, everything that happened up in Minnesota last week. And then now there's protests and riots going on all over the place, all over the country. And, you know, I just want to put it out there that I understand the peaceful protests. I'm not against peaceful protests. What I am against is like the rioting and all the craziness that's going on. And I realize that that's not necessarily the peaceful protesters. There's other people coming in to cause chaos. You know, we've got plenty of African-American friends, people that listen to this show, friends of ours from SHW, friends of ours on the roster at SHW. And I love those guys and girls. And I just I want everybody to know, like, reach out, talk to people, listen to people, and learn about people. You know, everybody, it's not hard. Just love each other, man. That's all I got to say. Just love each other.
I'll chime in real quick, just from my side of things. Just in reference to the initial incident with George Floyd, that was absolutely appalling. I haven't met one law enforcement officer that agreed with what happened. Everyone I spoke to said every single one of those guys is going to be put underneath the jail. It's very frustrating, and it's obviously very hurtful to all communities, in my opinion, not just African American communities, but every single community that expects law enforcement to have their backs and protect them. And then we do, you know, I'm not going to say we, because we didn't do this. Just, you know, 4 idiots did this that betrayed the trust of law enforcement with our citizens. It's absolutely appalling, and it's one of those things that I absolutely can't condone, obviously, And I'll go and tell you right now, there's nobody hates a bad cop more than a good cop. And I've had, nothing but good experiences with the guys that I work with, of all colors, all races, genders, whatever you want to call it. I think that now it's just time to kind of stand together and not against each other, and really, to take the words out of Bill and Ted, to be excellent to one another. I think that's all, what we really need to call for today. To the people protesting peacefully, we absolutely have your back. And to the people causing violence, I got nothing for you, man. I can't, I'm not about that life. And all I want to do is keep people safe. That's it.
And we appreciate that big time.
Yeah, thank you. That's well said. I'd like to opine on this as well, but Alfred, I'm gonna cast it over to you. Do you have any input on this?
I guess pretty much Mossman summed it up pretty well for as far as I feel about the whole situation. It was definitely when you watch the tape, kind of crazy to see. I'm sure that's not what you're trained to do in that situation, I'm assuming. So yeah, like I said, it's the beauty of this country is you have the right to go out and protest peacefully. But like you said, the key word's peacefully. When it starts getting to a point where you're burning police cars and you're assaulting people and who are just defending their livelihoods and what they've spent years and years building, a business isn't something that just happens overnight. It's a lot of work and a lot of investment and money, and when you lose that, that's their livelihood. So it's just sad to see people just deciding to destroy their communities, or even those who are from not even this part of town, who are just here to cause problem for an agenda, or because they want to, hey, this is a way for us to steal some stuff, or do something kind of just, not even worth, that's not even the reasoning that you're there.
And I know that people are just very frustrated. They want to be heard, and and I'm right there with you. I'm absolutely disgusted about what happened again. I can't say it enough. And it's not that I'm trying to make apologies for anybody, because I don't apologize for nobody. But my biggest thing is that you have the right to be heard, and you should be heard. But there is a right way to do it, and by causing violence and more problems for things like that, it's definitely not the right way to do it. And I got no problem saying this. That's where I don't have any issue getting involved with things like that, because I'm here to help other people. I'm here to help your family members and everybody that I work with, and the people that I know that are about, doing the job right. We just want to make sure everybody goes home safe. That's it.
Yeah, that's well said. And thank you, both of you guys. And I just want to talk about the social media piece, because I think that it's just
it's caused a lot of it. I mean, it's absolutely caused a lot of it.
It is a big fuel to a fire that's raging right now in our society. I think that the biggest thing that you can do is understand that social media, if you don't just get off of it, period, which is something that I personally need to do as well. I have not done. So I'm kind of preaching to myself right now as well. But at the very least, you should take social media as a form of entertainment and not as a form of understanding or study or research or actual understanding at all. Because it's not. You're seeing very, very short snippets of things. And I'm not referring to the death of George Floyd at all. We saw everything we need to see from that video. That was certainly the way Adrian said it. Those four guys need to be put underneath the jail, not in a jail cell, but buried beneath it. And I agree with that. However, I just think that there's a huge portion of the population from every age, from every demographic, that is just addicted to social media. And it is tearing at the fabric of our society, because we think we understand. We think that by liking things, we think by sharing things, we think by doing things and taking part in slacktivism, right? The slacker version of activism. Well, you think that is valid. I'm afraid not. It's not valid at all. And you need to be, number one, better read. Read some books on the matter, right? Educate yourself. Number two, probably more important than the first one, is learn how to build relationships with people that are not like you. Okay. And that's not by retweeting. That's not by sharing. That's not by liking a Facebook post. It's by building a relationship with them, actual face-to-face relationship. That's how you break all these walls down. Is by learning how to love each other
and teaching that as well. You know, coming as a father of three, and when my father was there for me growing up, he was there all the way until the day he died. You know, he's a very unusual guy. You know, but he and Adam, you've known him for a long time too. But I mean, the one thing that he always did was he always taught me how to work hard, how to care for your family, and how to love everybody.
And how to get to know everybody.
How to get to know everybody.
He didn't know a stranger, and here's the thing: is to want to love each other is to want to know each other. And I think that I personally am a Christian, so I believe that we're all created in the image of God, and I believe that God is three, right?
Yeah.
With Trinity. And so the God is hardwired for community and relationship. And if we're created in that image, then therefore we are longing to know each other more. And the way you do that is by hearing each other's stories, listening, being patient with each other, being humble and serving each other, not by sharing 120 words on a Facebook post.
No, it's one of those things where all I've seen this week are people changing profile pictures and making little statements about ending racism. No shit. Yeah, let's end racism, but let's not just say end racism. Let's talk about how to actually do it. And the way we do it is to raise your kids the right way,
Raise your kids the right way and break bread with each other.
Yeah.
Like sit at the same table.
If you see somebody walk in your direction, you don't have to just, put your head in your phone or look the other way or, try to sneeze or cough so you're facing the opposite direction. Just look at them and say, "Hey, what's up? Good morning." To anybody. Doesn't matter who they are. Because you never know, somebody might actually be in need or that needs something, and if you're in a position to help them, go out of your way to help them. There's no issues in that.
Yeah, and I think that the best way to get to know each other, quite frankly, and I'm going to segue, and I hope I get a chuckle out of this, is by asking someone who their favorite wrestler is.
Yes.
And because here's the thing is Brandon and I actually had lunch with each other. With our lead top dog guy in our company today, and he admitted to being a wrestling fan from '83 to '88. And at that point, I've got my in. I'm going to get to know you. I'm going to get to know you, and I'm going to find out what you thought of Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. I'm going to find out.
Well, and I know that we're just coming.
That's how you get to know each other. Ask them about wrestling.
And I know we're just coming off the heels of the coronavirus pandemic and everything like that, and hopefully we'll get right back to it. But I honestly believe, and I have to say this with a little bit of a warning, because I'm not too familiar with where we're at right now with coronavirus, because my news feed is just filled with hateful shit right now. But I'd like to know where we're at with that, because one of the things that brings people back together, and I don't care who laughs at the statement at all, because I just don't give a shit. I'm going to speak the truth. One of the things that always brings people together, pro wrestling and heavy metal. And I'm looking forward to concerts and wrestling events. And it just groups of people getting together and sharing one common interest of things that they like together. Adam, you and I have gone to WrestleManias. We've gone to, countless numbers of wrestling shows, and you see people, of all races, all genders, doesn't matter who they are, what side of the tracks they came from. They're all there for the love of pro wrestling. I go to a ton of concerts a year. And heavy metal, like if you go to like metal concerts and things like that, I mean, obviously you look at these things, they're primarily white guys that are at these shows, but every once in a while you'll see like a good fluctuation of people of color coming in there that want to enjoy the show, and they're having a great time. Sometimes it's their first time in a concert. Sometimes they're see dudes, black dudes with like a battle jacket on that's got patches and shit all over it. And when somebody falls in the pit, does not matter who they are, what color the skin is, your ass is in there with them, and you pick them back up. So that's one of the things I'm hoping that we can get back to, because I miss that. And I think the world needs that right now.
So I remember going to Raw. I think it was Brandon. I think it was the one I went to with you. Was that Raw or SmackDown?
It was Raw.
And with some folks from work, and we were at the CNN Center, going to the Phillips Arena at the time, now State Farm Arena. And we went to BurgerFi and got us like a 32-ounce beer. Yes. I didn't even know it came in that big of a size, so I got one of those mothers.
They come in pints,
as well as a delicious cheeseburger. And I don't know if you've ever been to the food court at the CNN Center, but it was just packed, and like the tables are big and really designed to where you can share space. And there's a group of black dudes like with WCW heavyweight championship belts over their shoulder, and I was like, well, I'm sitting here. And like instantly, like it wasn't about race, man. It was just like we were there for pro wrestling, and you're absolutely right. I can't wait for that to continue. And honestly, I think that has to be an underlying. Not I don't know.
I know you're going with that. I mean, one of my
I think that people are pin up right now.
They are, and they need to get in. And they were already pissed off by the pandemic and things before this, and then this comes out, and it's just like, what's next? Like volcanoes at the national monuments. I mean, who knows? The one of my greatest fondest memories of anything, of getting together with a big group of people, is when last time I went to go see Iron Maiden. Actually, every time I've ever gone to see Iron Maiden, it's like you're sitting there singing, the Troop or something like that, and all of a sudden you've got arms around your head like this. Everybody's like arm in arm, and it's just whoever's in crowd. They don't know you, but we all share the same love of.
But that's the thing. I think what a valid point is, if I was a listener listening to this right now to the Mean Street Podcast, which I hope you are, and I hope as you're listening to it, you're also going to prowrestlingtees.com/Mean Street Podcast to acquire some merchandise. But I think if I were a listener right now, I would say to myself, like, okay, well, don't just do that at an Iron Maiden concert, and don't just do that at a wrestling event. So now, like, I'm looking introspectively at myself saying, I need to do that all the time. Like, this issue is deep rooted, right?
Yeah.
But we do want to be entertaining and lighthearted. And hopefully, Brandon, maybe you can speak to this. Like, our ultimate goal is to make people laugh and have a good time.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I was going to say this is something that needs to continue, not necessarily on our show, because we are like a lighthearted, fun, for the most part. I mean, every now and then we'll hit a serious topic. We talked about like the Dark Side of the Ring episodes before, and sometimes we'll get serious. But for the most part, as a whole, not a whole, Alfred, as a whole,
Alfred,
as a whole, we like to be fun and goofy and joke and laugh. And that's why I love getting together with you guys once a week, because it's my break from real life to be able to come on here and have fun and joke and be goofy for a while. But one thing real quick, and then we'll move on to talk about wrestling. But I don't know, you guys, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it yet. I sent you the video of Titus and Batista down in Tampa, and they were having like a sit down with a couple of law enforcement people down there. And it was like,
you sent it to us?
I sent it to you on a text, but I also posted it on the Mean Street Facebook page. And
I actually mute the Mean Street Podcast group text.
Yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me. So anyways, it was a really good, it's like an hour-long video, but it was a good conversation in a public forum where they're actually discussing this whole topic with two white cops. You got Batista, you got Titus O'Neil, and they're just asking questions. That's the thing. You need to ask questions, learn about each other, learn about people's experiences, like you said, get to know people. And that's the only way we're going to get through this, is just learning about people and accepting people and just getting to know each other. And one of the things they brought up, which to your point, Batista and Titus both said, we love going to football games. And at football games, everybody, doesn't matter what color you are, purple, green, black, white, whatever, you're all wearing the same jersey, you're all rooting for the same team, you're all on the same side. Why can't you leave the stadium and take that camaraderie with you? And it's the same thing like you talked about going to wrestling events. I talked to some friends earlier this week about we can't wait for SHW to start back up, or even WWE and AEW, even though they're running, they're not having any fans. So I can't wait until they have shows where fans are allowed to go back, because just to that point, that's when everybody gets along. Everybody that's there is there because they love wrestling, and you can get along. It doesn't matter what your politics are or anything. It doesn't matter what your race is. Doesn't matter what your orientation is. But everybody's there. Everybody's there for wrestling to get along and take that outside of the arena and just live life like that.
On the flip side, it's not like I'm not doing that, and I don't think any of us are not doing that. So we just need to, if you are doing that, if you're out there and you are doing that and exercising brotherly and sisterly love outside of events, which I know you are, like, keep doing that and keep educating other people and being a good influence.
Well, yeah, and to your point, that's the thing. Yeah, we the four of us might not be doing that, but there are a lot of people that are like that need to stop living that way and just start accepting everybody and live like you're at a wrestling event.
And you mentioned like seeing purple people. It doesn't matter what color you are, but purple. Like if I see a purple person, I don't know what I'm gonna do to you. I'll be honest. I might fight you.
Well, like a Thanos or
Yeah.
He was a bad guy.
You ever see some of them purple chicks on Star Trek? That's what's up.
Or
It's true.
Alfred, yeah.
Yeah.
or Grimace from freaking McDonald's. What the crap kind of animal is he? What is he?
I don't know. What is Grimace? Alfred, do you know?
I don't have any clue what a Grimace is.
He looks like a traffic cone.
Like that. It looks like that mascot during the Olympics from Atlanta. What is it? Remember that guy?
Izzy.
They changed his name to Izzy.
No, sorry.
Well, it was what's it or what is it? And the short Izzy was short for for that. Anyways, Mossman disappeared and now it's Kurt Hennig. So for those of you who are watching us on YouTube right now, Mossman has disappeared, but the picture is Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and it's the video game version in the rampway of the WCW Monday Nitro entrance.
The great thing about do you see my picture? Like I have
So Disco Inferno is so Alfred's green screen is inverted. So behind him you don't see the picture, but you see the picture on his hat and on his shirt. And I see by your on your hat it's Disco Inferno wearing a Wolfpack shirt.
yeah,
because Wolfpack sucks.
This is him.
That's
yeah,
not
this
true.
is the NWO days when he was really bringing it hardcore.
But he never was officially in it. He just wanted to be in it, so he just like tagged along.
No, I mean, he was like he had a shirt and he'd come out and
He bought it. He bought it at one of the merch stands and then wore it to the ring.
he came out and he went like this and he went big, Kevin, Big Kev, and he did that stuff.
Anyways, like we said, we like to talk wrestling on here. So now that we've got the heavy stuff out of the way, let's and again, that's not that we're trying to avoid talking about it because that's stuff that needs to be talked about. But this show, we like to keep a little light and fun and goofy. So I don't know where Mossman went. I think dinner was ready or something, perhaps. But Adam, what do we got in the wrestling world? What's going on?
Dude, I gotta be honest. I ran out of Post-it notes. So
oh crap! We're screwed.
Yeah.
We are screwed.
I will say this. Hang
on.
A few videos of some of the matches going on now at the WWE, the Performance Center, for SmackDown and Raw. Now we've been saying how AEW had some of some wrestlers out there making noise and cheering and kind of being part of the show and whatnot. Well, it looks like WWE has incorporated that kind of little that as well, because they've had some wrestlers I think out decorating the outer area there during some of the matches. So they actually have people there making noise and cheering them on as they wrestle there at the Performance Center. So what do you think about that, guys?
Point, but mostly I just want to get back to my lack of Post-it notes. And I'm telling you what, I don't know how the show can go on, Alfred.
Right.
If I don't have Post-it notes.
I was getting ready to put the show at a halt because you don't have Post-it notes.
Well, you need to do a better job of pimping up the merchandise because that's how you're gonna get your Post-it notes, man. So you need to do. So you need one. You should do like a quick, cool commercial right now for the website to sell those shirts, so you can get those Post-it notes.
Adam, did you happen to see Alfred at work yesterday because he was wearing the Unbiased Journalistic Integrity T-shirt that he got from ProWrestlingTees.com/MeanStreetPod?
I did see it. He looked incredibly dapper. He was surrounded by women. And that's what happens when you wear an Unbiased Journalistic Integrity shirt, available at ProWrestlingTees.com/MeanStreetPod. Is it pod or podcast?
Oh, just pod.
Oh, just pod. It's just /MeanStreetPod. And so it's just a little, because we actually want to save you time. We don't want you to type all that. Just MeanStreetPod. It's fine.
We're doing you a favor.
All the ladies are surrounding you because you're wearing an Unbiased Journalistic Integrity T-shirt. I tried to autograph it. He wouldn't let me. I only had a black Sharpie. It's a black T-shirt. It made sense. So,
yeah, but then the second half of the day, I wore my Disco Inferno shirt. So
yeah.
And then all the girls left. All the girls left at that point. It was weird.
They're like, "Hey, Wolfpack sucks. I'm out of here."
It wasn't a Wolfpack shirt. It's different. He wasn't in the Wolfpack.
You don't have to cuss. Hey! You don't have to cuss at me.
Sorry.
Brandon.
Yeah.
I felt that. I felt that you were cussing at me in your heart. So what I want you to do right now, Brandon, is tell me what I missed last night. I totally forgot about AEW Dynamite. Catch me up to speed.
Will do. And Adam, to answer the text you just sent me, I think so, but I don't know for sure. Anyways, what happened last night? Mossman, you watched Dynamite last night as well, didn't you?
I did, yes.
I enjoyed it.
Dude, that tag match, man. Holy crap, the tag match is amazing.
The opening match for the tag
belts?
Yes.
You have to be descriptive.
I'm sorry. Yes.
It was incredible.
It was phenomenal.
It was really, really good.
Who the hell was in the match?
Great.
Right. Yeah.
Brandon, there was so much wrestling. Do you remember that?
The one move that they did? Oh, my God. No, it was the tag titles were on the line. Hangman and Kenny Omega took on what do they call them? Team Superbad or whatever they're calling them.
I'm not sure what their tag team calls, but I mean, it's Kip Sapien and
Havoc, Jimmy Havoc.
Not Davey Havoc, the other guy.
Jimmy Havoc. His brother. His brother Jimmy, yeah.
Um,
Well, Davey Havoc is the singer of AFI who Davey Havoc. No, Jimmy what's his name again?
Jimmy is the wrestler.
Jimmy's the wrestler. Jimmy's in love with Davey Havoc. Yeah. So that's where I got mixed up.
Billy Havoc.
Billy Havoc.
So anyways, they started the show out. The tag titles were on the line, and it was a fantastic match. So you should go back and watch it.
Like you're like so far away from your head with that.
It's gonna get in your eyeball. It's gonna get in your eyeball.
I'm Adam Havoc.
Stop it. I'm worried about you.
Over there.
I'm concerned.
The match was really solid. There were several times that I really thought that it was going to go the other way, and I thought we'd have new tag champs. Man, it was just great all the way. To me, it was the best match of the night. And that's the way they started off, so that was kind of cool.
They did a sit-down interview. Tony Schiavone interviewed FTR, and he asked him what FTR stood for, and it was kind of what we talked about last week. Where they
listened to our podcast. Is what it was. They're like, you know what, that's a good idea. I think we're going to just let FTR be left up to interpretation, and we'll let people decide what it is.
That's what I thought. That was my takeaway. Was that, hey man, they must have been listening to MSP. So, but yeah, so that was cool, and that kind of set up a match, but with them next week for their debut will be against Butcher and the Blade. By the way, the Allie situation, we kind of touched on that last week. She's been flirting and kind of hanging out with QT Marshall.
Which I don't mean to interrupt, but I will say that if he is getting a girl like that, then that means I think I've got a chance, guys.
Well, so they've played it up. So on commentary before, when Cody's done commentary, he's made jokes about QT Marshall with hair plugs, like using hair plugs. So they've made comments about his hair's coming in and looking better, and he's getting back in shape with DDP, doing DDPY. And so if you keep up with like BTE and some of the little videos that AEW is posting on YouTube, one of the comments I saw on Dark, I believe it was, somebody said that they think Allie, it may just be a big setup. Last week, Adam, you were saying, why are they changing her gimmick all of a sudden when she was with Butcher and the Blade and now she's over here doing this? So perhaps it's a long story here where it's a setup to where she's roping in the Natural Nightmares for I don't know, Butcher and the Blade to take him out at some point. We don't know. But
did they ever talk about the change of look in the Butcher and the Blade from where they went from looking like post-apocalyptic biker gang to something out of Clockwork Orange?
Now they're wearing just like the all white. Yeah, I haven't heard any reasoning for that, but yeah, I don't know.
I think setups are cool. I think that we should do a Mean Street setup where we set up one of us and just like.
I have assumed you guys have been setting me up for the last year and a half. I've just been waiting for like the shit to hit the fan. Like I don't know what it's gonna be.
You're gonna get low blowed. Alfred's gonna low blow you.
You okay, Alfred?
I just saw the text message.
The one that I sent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go, man. And it smells like.
What does it say?
Oh, now I see it.
Dude,
I said you went to go. I said it was dinner time, so you went to go eat.
No, it was the opposite of dinner time. I had to go take a shit, and now it smells like mustard gas and burnt tires in my bathroom. It's bad.
So that's like the quickest I've ever seen you go, by the way.
Yeah, because you guys are important to me, so I had to come back.
Did you wipe, or it was a clean break?
I mean, I washed. I mean,
at least you didn't send us a picture of you on the toilet like you have before.
No, I didn't.
That is great.
So excellent tag match I'm hearing. And then we saw a little bit more from Allie, and QT Marshall might be a setup. I don't know. I hope it is. It sounds exciting.
Main event. Oh, actually, the Britt Baker, Mossman, you texted us last night, the Britt Baker promo. So she's injured her knee, I believe. So she's got a knee brace on, and she's been sitting in a wheelchair. With says role model on it.
ROLL.
Right.
Model.
And then she
Role
also
model.
she was also in a vehicle last night that said Rolls Royce on it.
Yes.
That her Reba, a Rebel. She calls her Reba, but it's a Rebel who does like the makeup lady that works backstage. So she's been like driving Britt Baker around.
And I want everybody to watch the promo that they aired because I don't want to describe it, except I want to say one thing that just I almost spit out my drink watching this because it was so funny.
What was it?
Well, it showed her, you know how like they show like montages of like you'll see like Triple H at the gym, like doing the little ropes and things like that, and people like lifting weights and shit. Well, like hers, have you ever seen the ones like the football players or even the wrestlers that do? They'll start running and they've got like a harness on and it's tied to a bunch of weights that they're dragging behind them on like a football field.
I do it every morning for about an hour.
Yeah, well, so apparently so does Britt Baker. She gets in her wheelchair and she has a little 2-pound weight that's like this big tied to a string to the back of her wheelchair. She's just wheeling it down the field. And I lost my damn mind when I saw that. That was so funny.
There was that, and there was a bit with the ropes as well that you were
ropes,
describing,
like she's
where she's barely doing it, but she's making it look like it's super difficult. And like the whole montage was very funny. And I don't know if it's her coming up with it. If it is, kudos to her or whoever it is that's coming up with this stuff.
Regardless the delivery that she's giving on it, she sold me. I'm like, oh, I'm all over the Britt Baker train right now. And I was against it because that promo she did months back, I was like, oh,
yeah.
But now she has right when I think that things couldn't get any worse, she goes and does something like this and completely redeems herself.
Totally redeem yourself.
That's awesome.
And then the main event was Cody put the TNT title on the line for the first time against the winner of last week's Battle Royal, which was Jungle Boy, and they put on a good solid match. Cody retained, of course, but
well, like the Turner Network have other belts for other networks, like the Cartoon Network, where they have their own title belt, and like.
But they're not on Cartoon Network; they're on TNT, so they just have the TNT title.
They have all these other channels and stuff. So like,
now
that's a good question, Alfred. Maybe that's something we should.
Like, hey, I'm going up against you for the Court TV title. Like, you know what I mean? Like
the People's Court title.
Yeah, I'm taking that away. The Cartoon Network Championship's coming here.
Yeah.
Like, TBS title is around my waist.
I want to make Adam a Terminator 2 title. That'd be awesome. Look at his face.
Yeah, like Turner Classic Movies, like Shawshank Redemption Championship, since they show that all the time.
Yes.
So they came out last week, and Cody did, and it was a press conference or an interview or something, said that he's opening up the people that want to challenge outside of the company. So anybody that wants can come after the TNT title. You know, I don't know how legit that would be, but
Joe Black.
I was going to say, but
Black.
who?
Joe Black.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, who could you guys think of that you would want from outside of AEW that would be cool to come in to challenge?
I think that there should be a masked man, a brand new wrestler, new gimmick, called the Coronavirus, and that should go in there and
El Corona?
El Corona, there already is one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree with this. I don't like this portion of the podcast.
I think if El Corona shows up, Thunderbolt Mahoney could come in and interfere at some point and cost him the match.
And I'm back on board.
I don't know, on a serious note. I don't know who that could be if they're just leaving it, if they have someone in mind right now, or if they're just leaving it open just for the sake of story elasticity.
Well, I think it might be that, and it might also be the fact that we've had a lot of indie wrestlers come in, a lot of people that we know, they're friends of the podcast, that have come on that are not under AEW contracted, and it's just, I'm gonna say it this way, not to be mean, but like just people to come in and just kind of fill TV space. I mean, I'm glad these guys are on TV doing their thing on AEW. That's fantastic.
ABJs.
Yeah, I don't like calling them that. That sounds so mean to me.
Well, think about who's saying it though. It makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean,
Adam puts the mean in the Mean Street podcast.
Yeah. But I think that was just kind of a cool deal there. I'm on board with that. I like that it's not just strictly for AEW talent.
Maybe Pineapple Pete.
Oh, by the way, I haven't listened to it yet, but apparently he's on Jericho's podcast this week.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
How crazy is that for him that he was there as like an extra to be in the crowd when they were filming in Georgia at the Nightmare Factory in Norcross, and because of that, because he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, Jericho just out of nowhere, just off the cuff, calls him Pineapple Pete, and then that caught fire, and he started referring to him every week after that. Then he got a match with Jericho on on Dynamite, like, and now everybody knows who he is. They've got a T-shirt for sale.
Can I give an opinion on this?
Do that. But can we come back to the TNT title? Something just hit me while you guys were talking. Go ahead.
We'll do that first.
With the open challenge for the TNT title outside of AEW, isn't that not a great opportunity to bring people in that are like, and I'm not going to say any names, but like say somebody that was recently released from WWE.
Oh yeah,
Matt Cardona.
Yeah, something like that. What a great way to bring them into the company of saying, hey, this is the open challenge. Anybody who wants to come through those doors, and then you see freaking Matt Cardona come through there. I'm like, holy shit, that'd be awesome. I'd mark out hard for that.
Hashtag always ready. Matt Cardona is probably one of my favorite wrestlers active right now.
Is that his little hashtag thing? Always ready? That's dope.
I know he's got a T-shirt for it too.
I like it.
Which you can find at the same place that you can find Mean Street Podcast T-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/meanstreetpod. You can also go to Mean Street Pod or prowrestlingtees.com/Matt Cardona to support Matt Cardona.
Like, is he taking CBD oils or some shit? Is he taking them the wrong way?
Alfred, who is this guy?
With Alfred?
I don't know.
Is he gone?
That's Chase Elliott.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it really?
Alfred? Alfred.
If you he's a NASCAR driver. So for the fans that are just listening and aren't watching us, Alfred keeps posting pictures where his video should be. So we're confused.
He's posting pictures of him and underage boys. It's weird.
That's terrible.
Alfred, at least stick to wrestling. Don't you have pictures with like Lita or a wrestler that you could post?
Oh yeah, my best friend.
My best friend.
Anyways. Adam,
we're a couple extra Coronas there.
Adam, you were gonna start something. What were you gonna say?
So there's this like shallow marketing idea, right? That like catching something on fire with social media, and it's this short-lived kind of like burp of a media push. And I think Chris Jericho is the king of them. And I don't think that is true. Like, it's not true like fandom, like the Le Champion, the Le Bubble, whatever it is. Compare that to Austin 316. There's no comparison. Like, it's just a different type of reaction from the crowd, to where now we live in this like short time period.
Social media,
where it's just like this little burp of fandom. And I hate it. I don't like it at all. And it's not long lasting. It's not Scott Hall coming out week after week saying like,
"Hey yo,"
it's not that. It's not him coming out there for a little survey.
Well, look at the attention span of the average person today.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're all bred with ADD because we all have computers, tablets, and telephones in front of our face.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, and I hate it, but it's true. Like, it affects everything. Like, social media is affecting everything that we do, and even the things that we enjoy, like pro wrestling. So like all that stuff. Like, I just don't. I like whenever that happens. Even the Pineapple Pete thing. It's like that's not getting over. I'm sorry, that's not getting over. That's two words getting over. That's not a person getting
here's
over.
the thing.
Hang on. When Austin 316 got over, that was Steve Austin getting over. But with something like this, it's two words getting over. It's Jericho getting over. It's not Shug D getting over.
No, I agree, and I'm hoping though that it's like a stepping stone for Shug D to, if he can take advantage of it, if they give him more opportunities to compete on the show or to be on the show, even in the crowd, because they've shown him a lot more in the crowd sitting next to Billy and Austin Gunn, and every time somebody's over there, he's getting in, he's waving and making a scene. He's trying to make the most of his camera time. But I thought the same thing. Like, it's not necessarily getting him over, but it's Jericho. It's Jericho trying to help him get over, I think. I don't think it totally got him over.
Yeah, and it's that, because also you got to keep in mind that, and Jericho's really doing him a service on that one, because there's no crowd. So it's hard to hear people chanting Pineapple Pete and things like that.
Well, I don't want to I don't want to give the no crowd as a justification for it, because here's the thing is dadgummit, it was Michael P.S. Hayes was the one who was giving the interview at King of the Ring 96 right after the Jake the Snake match, and Steve Austin came out there and gave his Austin 316 speech. Michael P.S. Hayes, being a neutral announcer, a neutral interviewer, he was trying to get Stone Cold Steve Austin over, or at least give him the platform to do so. And the way that Stone Cold Steve Austin got over was just like kick the doors down before the match. It's famous. It's the whole story of it is famous, where he said before the microphone was in front of Steve Austin's face, he said, "What did Jake the Snake say?" And apparently he said something about the Bible, about Scripture. And that's when Stone Cold Steve Austin came out there and says that you talk about your Psalms, you talk about your John 3:16. Well, Austin 3:16 says, "I just whipped your ass." Like, that was creativity, his own creativity. No one else doing that other than the people around him giving him a blank, neutral canvas.
See, think about that again, though, because you've got, Austin 3:16 was born in, what year was that again, Adam?
96.
96. And you could probably count the amount of wrestlers that have created something similar to that on one hand. Let's just go since Austin 3:16. We'll go Austin, we'll go The Rock.
I mean, as big as Austin, like that's kind of unfair.
But I mean, again, he's the one that created the character. He's the one that created that whole momentum by himself. I mean, can you really think of anybody else other than Austin? Give me some more names past.
Zack Ryder got himself over, but he got squashed.
Yeah.
Rusev Day.
Rusev Day. That's another good one.
Lana, have you seen her legs? Have you seen her legs?
But I mean, even still, I mean, like I said, we're having a hard time coming up with 5 names after.
I was going to say that when you were talking about the Steve Austin comparison, like, there's just never going to be another Stone Cold. There's never going to be another Rock. There's never going to be another Jericho.
I'll say Jericho. Jericho got himself over again when he was in New Japan.
Multiple times. Jericho is the GOAT. I mean, there's no question there.
I was going to say, you were talking about in this day and age where, like, the attention span is so short and all these little things are getting over a little bit at a time. New Day. I was going to say, to Jericho's credit, he's done a great job of adapting to the short attention span of everybody and repeatedly getting himself over with different things every couple weeks or every couple months or whatever it is. Whereas that's almost unheard of.
The Young Bucks.
Yeah, Young Bucks. I think you got to throw Becky Lynch in there too. I mean, I know that they constantly compare her to Stone Cold because, I mean, it's similar the way it was. Now, I don't know how organic that was, if that was something that she did or something they kind of. And I just don't. I'm saying because I'm ignorant. I don't know anything about her story. Or
I don't
the
either.
Whole man persona. I don't know if they pushed her into that or if that was something she came out and said. But again, I mean, it's like few and far between. And they are out there. I don't even want to say that there'll never be another Stone Cold Steve Austin because there very well might be.
AC Mack on a local level, man. When he goes out there and he says,
"Oh, he's the man with the golden microphone." Yeah,
standing in his ring
from the SWATs.
Just the way he hushes everybody. Hush!
Yeah. Hush!
In the middle of his catchphrase or something, he'll say, "Hush!"
Can we talk about how much we miss live wrestling? Did we already mention that?
So much.
Gosh, I would have thought. There are plenty out there, but I do think that the WWE system squanders that from happening too much. And now I do think that there's actually a system being generated in AEW where you kind of have to like be all quirky and be all like on YouTube and stuff and like all this. It's like it's ruining and limiting the opportunity for those Austin 316 moments, I think.
Well, look at this way too. We're living. I'm sorry, cut you off, Brian. I'll be real quick on this one.
No problem.
But like, look at the the quarantine, the pandemic, whatever, the scamdemic, whatever you guys want to call it. Look at this moment of time where we've had a lack of pro wrestling, we've had a lack of live events, and you've got indie wrestlers that are chomping at the bit to come back. Did he fall asleep?
Almost. Alfred.
Is he frozen?
I think it's a screenshot.
That's
Might be.
Bad connection, folks.
I think he was blinking, but it did look like he was dozed off.
I think we need to
sorry.
call his wife, make sure he's okay. But we've had this long period in live events where these indie wrestlers can't go out there, and not even just indie, the pros can't even really go out there and entertain the way they want. I'm wondering if some of that they've lost with the interaction with the fans, that when we get the fans back, if it'll breed another Stone Cold Steve Austin, if it'll breed something bigger than something that could be written by an executive behind the scenes. If it's something that, that old song, if you don't know what you got till it's gone, if it's going to come in.
I love you too.
And oh my God. And the lack of entertaining is going to bring them back and evolve into something big like that. I'm hoping so.
So there's a couple things with AEW. Part of me thinks that they're the new alternative. They're trying to gear themselves towards a younger audience, but they're also giving some fan service to the older audience, like our age. But so part of me thinks that's why they're doing a bunch of YouTube short videos and the little short little things, because it's a short attention span in this day and age on social media across the board. And so they're trying to, gear themselves towards that. On the other side of it, talking about maybe there being another Stone Cold, I feel like there's more of a chance of that in AEW because they're not giving them scripts. They're letting them be themselves. They're not giving them ridiculous gimmicks to go out and try to get over. So there's more of a chance that we're going to see, like with John Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be the next Stone Cold. It may be because he's not new, so he's already kind of like established, but he's just more of a loose cannon. He can do what he wants now. He's done
But here's the thing. Here's the thing: is quote John Moxley for me right now. Just something that he said.
Well, exactly, because he doesn't have a big catchphrase or anything like that, so there's nothing really to quote.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like all the people that you love, you can quote. I mean, even someone who doesn't have catchphrases, like you can quote Jake the Snake. Like you can, and that's the thing is there's nothing like I never stop and really want to listen to what John Moxley's saying, because it's always the same. He just has this weird cadence about him, and like I don't know, he's never said anything memorable to me. He's never really done anything memorable to me, except for marrying Renee and having an awesome Dodge Ram truck.
You guys go ahead. I'm texting Alfred to see if he's still with us.
Oh, okay.
Like with us, like.
Well, obviously he's not with us on the podcast. For anybody that's not watching, if you're just listening to us, so Alfred froze. He froze mid-blink, so it looked like he was nodding off, and then his screen just went away.
It looked like he froze mid-death.
So I'm not sure.
Word there for a minute.
Oh, okay. So
he was really dead. He said that.
He just texted me back. Everybody, hey guys, listeners, you guys. Don't worry. He just texted me back. He said lost power. So
hang on. Don't turn this into a gimmick. Let's turn this into an angle.
Well, I already
dead.
Well, no.
Jesus.
I don't know. You sound like Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was like, "Oh, this is such good shit. Let's run with it."
Let's put him in a limousine and blow it up. That's good.
That's good.
So no, he's all well and good, folks. Just in case you were worried.
Woo.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious about the Moxley thing too, like how how much steam that's really going to garnish. I mean, like
he's cool. I drink a beer with him.
I like watching him wrestle. It's cool, but like, again, I'm not intrigued in what I'm never wondering. Oh, what's he going to do next? I'm just like, oh, there he is. He shows up.
There's no
looking very sweaty with the belt.
There's no surprise anymore. There's no excitement anymore. Like I watch wrestling, and I'm just a critic now. Like I don't believe anything that's happening now, and I want to believe what's happening. Like I really do. I just like make me believe, and like I can suspend my disbelief. I can watch Space Force with Steve Carell and enjoy it and pretend that he's like the commander of Space Force. So like make me believe what you're doing. And no one's doing that. No one is doing that. Why are they not doing that?
Has anything been happening on because I don't want to turn this into the AEW show. I mean, has anything been happening on WWE at all?
Well,
I saw
just
that
real quick.
Breezango was back. I saw
Yeah,
that.
So I have not been watching. I never watch NXT because it's on the same time as Dynamite. Now I always end up watching Dynamite. I try to catch bits and pieces of Raw if it's on. Like if I remember that it's on. I haven't watched SmackDown. I don't know how long. I did see where. So Drake Maverick was whenever they had the Wednesday a month ago or whenever it was when they released like 30 plus people or however many people they released. Drake Maverick was one of those, and now I've been seeing him. He's back, and they've been having like a tournament for the Cruiserweight Championship. So I don't know what happened there. Like he was still part of the tournament, but they released him. And then Impact just put out a video promoting their Slammiversary pay-per-view that's coming up, and they did like a fake newscast talking about all these wrestlers that have been released during the pandemic. And then there's quick clips of a bunch of guys from they're formerly WWE that they're making you think, oh, they're going to show up at Slammiversary for Impact. And there was Gallows and Anderson. There was like EC3 was a clip. There was a clip of Drake Maverick and maybe a couple others. And then, so I see that a couple days ago, and then I see where last night Drake Maverick is on NXT signing a new contract with Triple H. So I'm like, wait, I thought Impact.
I don't think he ever. I think that was a work, man. He never lost his contract.
So he was the one out of like. So there's a lot of people, Matt Cardona included, that posted like a long thank you or posted a video thanking the fans after they got released. And Drake Maverick, or what I don't know what his real name is, but he posted a video, and his was like the most emotional, where he's like crying and thanking the fans and all this.
It was a work, brother.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now looking back on that, it's like, okay, well, obviously that wasn't real, but
you're such
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that of using the pandemic to fire people, and then but using part of that as a work for a storyline for NXT?
Honestly, you know what my opinion on it?
You're about to get it, Brandon. Brandon, you're about to get lit up.
No. My opinion on it is I think that's pro wrestling, man. Like everything is designed to make money and to put butts in seats, right? To sell T-shirts, to get the crowd hot, to get the crowd emotionally invested in your match. And honestly, I think that's brilliant.
What they should do then, do like they did with Nexus, or do like they did with the Invasion angle, and have these like 20 or 30 guys forming this group to invade the shows.
The outsiders.
Yeah, exactly. Like a little bit at a time, and just have them invading Raw, SmackDown, NXT.
And you know, I'm sure that was an option on the writers' room table. But I'm just laughing right now that the fact that I've never listened to a podcast where one host just goes away. And
he lost power, apparently.
Just fade to black. Like that Metallica song written for Alfred Romero.
It's like we all went on an Alaskan fishing trip, and Alfred never came back.
Oh, man. Poor Alfred. I hope he's okay.
Anyway, no, Adrian, do you have an opinion on it?
You cut out there. What was the last part you said?
Adrian, do you have an opinion on like using the coronavirus?
Yes. From a business side of it, that if it's not a work and they do release you and they say, you know what, maybe this guy was a good worker, we can sign him over to a new contract. It won't be as big as his last contract, because we do have to cut some fundage, and we got to make, recoup some of our money here. So we can release him from his contract legally, sign him to a new contract, making less money. And, if he wants it, he wants it. If not, no skin off our back. So it could have been done as a business thing. It's possible. Yeah. It'd be crap if it was that way, but I think guys got to work, man. What you gonna do?
Yeah, I hear you. I want to go back to one thing before we close out about believability. Do you know who two guys, and I've already mentioned one of them, two guys that I've actually believed in the same realm as Stone Cold Steve Austin in the past couple of years? You know who those two guys are? AC Mack and David Ali.
Okay.
David Ali, like when I'll never forget the time that Brandon and I interviewed him down at the Main Street Satellite location, and he stayed in gimmick the whole time.
We were with Alfred. Alfred was there.
Was he?
Because I felt bad for Alfred because he kept making fun of him and going after him in his gimmick, and I was like, I almost felt bad for Alfred because he kept making fun of his weight and stuff, and I was like, dude, like.
And so. So that's the thing is, like, Brandon and I had to stay in gimmick too, like, and it was weird. Like,
we had to like play along. Yeah, it was weird.
but I had sweat running down my back because I've never had a man yell at me without consequences.
Without getting turned on.
A little nipple rub here and there.
without consequences, like one of these.
Oh yeah.
Right here.
Knuckle sandwich.
Yeah, you got it. But those two guys, I just think about like independent wrestling right now and how maybe that's and I hate to go like circle back around to another conversation we had previously, but I do think that those two guys, like that's how you sell believability. It's through excitement and enthusiasm and drama.
Well, here's the thing. Fingers crossed for them that they know a lot of the people that are getting these little opportunities to show up on AEW Dark and AEW Dynamite. Maybe they get that chance. I hope they would go that route rather than an NXT route, because in AEW, it's more likely that they would be allowed to be their own gimmicks, their own characters, or themselves or whatever. Because we saw AC Mack show up on NXT as Ron Mackey, and it was a squash match. But you know what I mean? Like, so hopefully if they do end up on an AEW Dark or Dynamite at some point, then they can show the world what we already know, which is what you just said.
I want to see AC Mack on Dynamite, and when Jericho throws out one of his quick little quips to just be like, hush!
Dude, the whole Jericho debut in WWF when he interrupted The Rock. Do that with AC Mack interrupting Jericho. It's the same thing, but a new generation. That would be money. I would love that.
Talk about dream booking right now, like for AC Mack to do that to Jericho and not even pay credence to anything that Jericho says to try to get him over. For AC Mack to get in there and try to get himself over.
And that's the funny thing is that like there's no writers or anything needed for that, because these guys have been doing this for so long, and they've really honed their craft into the independent wrestling cycle of making their character what they want it to be. So if you give these guys like that free reign to come in there and do whatever they want, say, hey, here's a mic, go entertain, man, that'd be phenomenal.
Well, Matt could do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And plus you already have stock footage from SHW when Jericho attacked Mac in the ring and took him out with a steel chair. Boom, there's your seeds planted right there.
Oh, come on, Mac, get in there.
Oh, come on.
I want to see it.
Anyways, on that note, that's our fantasy booking, our armchair booking for AEW. So, Dylan, you may be the only person that's involved with AEW that might actually hear this. Other than that, I don't know who else from AEW would actually listen to our podcast.
What do you know about Cody? I'm sure Cody listens.
You think Cody? You think we're on his radar?
And Allie at least watches.
Oh yeah. She watched until Alfred. She watched until Alfred disappeared, and then we probably lost a bunch of viewers once Alfred disappeared. But
what's up, Bunny?
Anyway, did you say what's up, Bunny?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, on that note, you guys got anything else? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up.
I need to
you're breaking up.
Watch tonight. Should I try to watch Dynamite from last night?
Sorry, go back. Sorry, go back.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you now. What was it?
I do have one more thing just to get your opinion. Should I watch NXT or can you go back on the TNT app and watch previous?
Look who's back.
Look who's back. Sorry, Adam, to interrupt you.
And he's gone. He's gone.
Can you go back? What now?
Can you go back on the TNT app and watch like last night's stuff? Is that possible?
Yes.
Okay. So here's a poll from the Mean Street Crew. Should A-Bomb 2 Sweet go and watch NXT or Dynamite?
I mean, I was entertained. I can't speak for NXT, but I was entertained watching Dynamite. I know that.
Yeah, I like Dynamite, but I didn't watch NXT, so I don't know. Other than I did see, or you mentioned it, I think I saw a picture where Breezango showed up again, and they were wearing like spacesuits or something.
Yeah, they were like Space Force. But there was color last night in AEW. Granted, it was forced color, but it
was a shoot.
Yeah, I'm
That's
kind of over that.
What color?
Just when they make it just blatantly, obviously that's what they're trying to go for.
Oh, like with Cody last night?
Yes. Yeah. It was him and Jungle Boy, and he went color on. I was like, why?
Also, there was a table spot last night, and me and a buddy at work were talking about this, where I don't know if they were rushed because they were getting close to the 10 o'clock hour, and so they were just trying to get everything in last minute. But there was that table spot, which was just totally unnecessary, where they came off the turnbuckle outside, and then they no-sold it, basically, and they got right back up in the ring, and I'm like, what was the point of the table?
And I don't understand how they no sold it because that table had no give to it at all. It just went. It was like from the top rope, top turnbuckle, straight to the ground. I was like, good God!
It looked like it hurt, and I'm like, if you're ever gonna sell something, this would have been it because that looked painful.
But you're right. I said the same thing. I was like, they didn't even sell that. They just got back up and went back in the ring.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something really controversial to close the show out.
Uh-oh.
Cody Rhodes is my least favorite wrestler right now.
Okay. I can't really disagree.
You just said that he listens to our show, and now he's going to hear that, and he's probably not going to come on with us.
Or we hope we're going to get a retweet.
I don't know if you can say that.
What's the thing on the Twitter?
It's a Twitter.
I don't have one of those things. I don't know. I'm not a 16-year-old girl.
No, let that just be an open invitation. If he wants to come in and defend himself and try to sway my important opinion, why are you laughing?
Flick of the bean.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm not laughing at you. Mossman's got me again.
Stop. I have to cover up that portion.
I like that you're trying to cover him up, but that's not doing any good for anybody else. Like we can all still see him. By the way, let's all right. So that's an open invite for Cody to come on the show and to discuss with Adam Adam's dislike for him. Yeah.
It's an open debate. We have 10 minutes to prepare and 5 minutes to retort after each argument is made.
How long to do your hair? Your hair looks really good tonight, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
It does. I'm not even being funny or making a joke. Your hair looks phenomenal.
Thank you. This whole thing, it's just nothing. It didn't cost me a $500 haircut or anything.
You just threw it together tonight.
Well, just a little ditty.
Hey, so real quick before we go, I do want to check in with Alfred. We were worried sick. We didn't know what happened. So is everything okay at your place?
Yeah, everything's fine. We just temporarily lost power out here.
You're having spaghetti? You had to go eat spaghetti?
No. We weren't having spaghetti. We were.
Did your wife forget to pay the bill?
No. Bill has been paid. It was just.
Did your wife forget to make spaghetti?
No, she did not forget to make spaghetti.
She did make spaghetti. I knew it.
No, she didn't.
So, but as long as you're okay, we were very concerned.
Spaghetti night.
By the way, Alfred,
when I disappeared, I shot everybody a text saying, "Hey, man, I'm all right. I just gotta go. I gotta go drop a sewer pickle."
But, by the way,
you just kind of disappeared.
Alfred, it was a little. It made us nervous because your screen froze when you had blinked, so you were literally frozen. You looked like you were just sitting there, like with your eyes closed, and so we were going, Alfred.
I'm right here.
All right, hey, Alfred. One last thing. Ring the bell, buddy.
School's in, sucker.
No. Ring the bell. He's tapping out.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ask him!
Hey, I got you.